let's begin by just introducing yourself with your name, the name of your film, and something about that film to remind everybody what film it was.
Hi, my name is Dylan Napier, and I'm part of the Scooby-Doos. Our film was called Lost Cause, and it was the film where, sadly, all three took their lives at the end.
I'm Scott. My one was the black and white noir about the podcaster.
I'm Alan, part of Team Alan with one L's, and our film, The Perception of Perfection, we murdered a pregnant lassie.
Francis with Just Film Productions, and my film was the one with the androids.
Audience, there is a prize for best question. And filmmakers, there's a prize for best answer. Let's begin by just telling us, were there any challenges that you overcame? It could have been the genre you drew, or something that happened on set, or the editing process. The funnier the better, but any challenges at all that you feel you overcame during the process?
I mean, the obvious one is time. I think this time the team I worked with is really big for me. So that was quite a bit of a challenge to kind of wrangle everybody during the time that we had. But I think we did it, so we're here to tell the tale.
Again, time, and we always have quite a small team as well. But the biggest challenge we had was I have a very small role in the film, and I think I'm in like 3 shots. But the shot of me jumping out of the car is shot from side on, and I'm not in as good shape as I used to be. In fact, Ailey's pregnant belly, what we did was we painted my belly green and digitally. Yep. But I wasn't happy with that shot because this was going on. So I ended up taking my belt off, lifting my shirt, wrapping my belt around my belly, tightening it as tight as I could. Right. And we refilmed it. It looked great. I don't know if anyone noticed. Yeah. But yeah, I had about an inch deep buckle mark. So that was the biggest challenge for us.
I think ours went pretty smooth, obviously time. The hardest bit for us was we thought we had a great idea to have him read out the credits in his voice, like as if they were Patreon subscribers, and we loved it, but it was 3 minutes long, and you only allow 1 minute for the credits, so that was the hardest thing, was cutting
Leon can tell you, because he knows you're only allowed 1 minute for the credits, 4 to 7 minutes, so you had to cut that out, director's cut.
Yeah, it's up on you. It'll be up on YouTube after the ceremony.
Yeah, I would say the biggest challenge was probably the first scene, which was filming in the pub. As you can imagine, it was the local pub, and I thought it'd be a bit quiet because we went there quite early. It was about 1 p.m. But for some reason, next door in the pool room, there was these 3 young lads who'd been drinking probably since the pub opened, and we waited for it to be quiet, but they didn't really get any quieter. So we thought, okay, we'll bribe them. So we bought them all a drink, and then basically we gave them the drink. They were like, sling your hook. they said, oh, well, we're just going to drink and we're going to be loud. And then eventually my friend bartered them down and eventually they left. But we had to sit around in the pub for, I'd say, about an hour, which was a bit of a waste of time, really.
I love that. And it just goes to show that, I think that shows the spirit of this challenge, navigating, the real people in the place and dealing with drunkards in the pub. And the battle that all of you 48-hour warriors do with all sorts of people. Dylan, can you tell us where that was?
Yeah, that was the Plough-In. We got special permission to film in there as well, luckily. That's in Rosemarkie. So I thought it would be quieter there. We originally planned to film in the Anderson, but then we went in and it was already absolutely bouncing in there for some reason. I think the rugby was on that day, actually. So we had to go somewhere else. We went there and thought it'd be quiet. It wasn't quite quiet, but it was a nice pub. Had a couple of drinks, so well past the time.
It was a great location. I would say it was definitely worth your battle with the drunkards. And then the beach as well was beautiful.
Yeah, that's just the beach. That's just Rosemarkie and all the way up the point. That sort of beach. Just tried to find somewhere where there wasn't people swimming, it was a reasonably drab day, so that was easy enough. It's a lovely beach though, good for a swim.
Oh.
Yes, that's the real meaning of the film. It was a sort of parody on podcasters and these people now, especially young people nowadays, who listen to this advice that they get given online, which frankly is a load of crap. Whether it's trying to sell you something or it's pushing this idea of what masculinity is. And that's the whole point of the film, is that my friend at the start doesn't listen to me, and all he can think of is to direct me to someone who he thinks knows about what he's talking about how to be, how to get out of depression or whatever, or if they even believe in it. So yeah, so just about how there's this vicious cycle we've got going on where there's these people who say stuff online, everybody listens, and then those people then feed people who genuinely need help to these people, and it's just yeah, that's the film. The film's about that. So yeah, it's about a warning to not do that.
Great question, great answer. Yes.
Also for Lost Cause, how did you do the final shot of the film?
So it's not. I didn't know if it was going to look effective. I think it did actually look better than I thought it would. But I was trying to think of somewhere in the local area where we could all manage to reach up onto something. Because obviously, to do a convincing hanging, you can't be that close to the ground. So we thought, oh, where's somewhere we can maybe lift ourselves up? And that's actually just next to the beach. There's this football pitch, and there's this big old rusty goal. And we thought, okay, well, we can all haul ourselves up. The thing is, though, when you do that, you have to tuck your arms like this over the bar, and you're absolutely killing your arms. So you have probably about, I was holding on for my dear life, to be honest, but I could only hold on for about 40 seconds. So we had about 40 seconds to get everyone up and the shot. And also, when you're holding on like that, it's hard to keep your legs still. So some people's legs are going like this and whatnot. So yeah, it was a challenge, but I think it looked good in the end, which is the main thing.
Response to AI technology in the creative world.
Very much so, yes, and hopefully the message came across that it's it has to be used well, and obviously there's not a lot we can do about it, but I think we were trying to get the point over that it's kind of here to stay, really, isn't it?
I thought you did put that over really well. Both of you that we've just talked to, Dylan and Francis, you dealt with contemporary issues in the world, and it sounds like that's really resonated, so that's great. Yeah. Okay, did anybody have something either that they didn't get to do, or that they did but they had to cut because of due to time? Our Aberdeen friend has already told us about the credits. Francis?
Well, I think we'd have wanted more close-ups, and I think we kind of had to compromise in not getting them because we're running out of time, so I think that was maybe missing.
I don't think we didn't cut anything, any scenes or anything, but like I said, in the edit there was, and I could have done with an extra hour for that sound. Listening back to it in the big speakers there, and I was like, ah.
Yeah, it goes back to the hanging scene again. When we're all hanging there, I don't know if anyone, but in the very first scene, Flora, who's talking to me at the bar, says that she's got a black lab. And we actually scoured the beach looking for a black lab to bring over. And the lady said, "What are you filming?" And we had to tell her we were filming a hanging scene. But she still wanted the black. So the black lab was meant to sniff around our feet. And we got the shot, which took ages because the lab was quite an old lab. Bless the lab, Greg. But Greg was sniffing around the feet, but wasn't really getting that close to the shot and was just sort of dithering about. But eventually, after killing our arms, we got the shot. But we didn't have enough time to put it in at the end. And we also didn't have enough time to play the lovely song that my friend made, because we were going to have that running through the credits, but didn't have time for credits either. So
I actually wanted to ask you that. Loved the music. And we do say this to people all the time. They ask us, we didn't get time to put so-and-so in the credits, can we redo it? We say, no, you can't. But you can, in the Q&A, tell us who made that awesome song.
yeah, so that's my friend Dylan Van Rensburg, who we all call DVR, and he's an artist based in London at the moment, and he's not DVR on Spotify. And the last time actually we were here, up in Inverness, we had him, one of his songs that he'd already made on a previous album. We used that. However, this time he actually made an original song, so that's not anywhere.
Right.
That's a sneak peek. He might put it online somewhere, but I don't know.
Okay. So if we want to find out more, he's not DVR?
Yeah, on Spotify,
Yeah,
not
okay.
DVR, yeah.
Right. Remember all of these things for the awards, so when you guys are going to know so much more at the awards than anybody who didn't come to this one. Yes.
Just for Alan, how did you find the setups in the car? Was that GoPro or was it an actual camera setup?
No, it wasn't a GoPro. It was a DSLR. Quite a lot of the film was shot on DSLR. Some of it was filmed on a DJI 4D. Obviously shooting Ailey's character who was driving, that's fine because you just sit in the passenger seat. Done, easy. Filming Zoe's character who's in the passenger seat, we ended up making a little rig for it that sort of sat on the dashboard that moved every time we turned a corner, because we shot that sequence. We did a few takes of it between the Tor roundabout and the Maybury roundabout, so we could just do a big straight, turn around, go back, turn around, go back. In fact, I think if you look at some of the different takes, we're going in completely different directions, but you never know unless you know the area. So yes, we brought a little rig for it to sit on, mic'd it independently, and I'm sitting behind someone in the back seat, just monitoring the audio and monitoring the shot with my phone. There's an app you can link to the camera. I say we made a rig. It was a jumper that was sort of smooshed in against the dashboard, and the camera sat on it quite nicely. But yeah, it's a rig. Yeah.
No, look great.
Thank you.
So for the fight scene, we did a ton of blocking, but no, the rest was kind of just figuring out on the day. I find noir quite easy because it tends to be you stick the key light somewhere and then frame up from that. So yeah, it was quite quick, but the fight scene was the hardest, trying to make sure we didn't get lights and there was mirrors in the background. So I'm not sure if anyone noticed, but we had Sam shadow boxing in a mirror. He was fighting himself, and that was purely because we couldn't work out the blocking for how to not get me in the shot. So yeah, thank you to Sam. We all found it funny, but no one else noticed.
Well, I have to ask you while we're talking about your movie, the question that's on everybody in Aberdeen's mind, which is, what is the current state of Jamie Sundance, who plays Ladders? What is the current state of his hair?
Oh, he shaved it like that for the film, and then I think by the time we'd finished packing up, he'd shaved off the rest because he was quite embarrassed.
He did the full. So now he's gone the full The Rock. Is his new right?
Yeah,
Okay.
nice and shiny.
And the facial hair, what's he done with that?
I think that's gone again.
It's gone.
I'm going to be honest, I didn't see him until Sunday, and I was very sleep deprived. So
In all the years of doing 48, we've never had somebody actually shave a partly balding haircut. So that was commitment. Sam.
I just wanted to add, none of us asked him to do that. Showed up like that.
That's true commitment. That's true commitment.
We're a really small group of 5 people this time, instead of which we're usually about 5 people every time, and we only have my girlfriend this time, but usually we don't have any women. So maybe film the femme, or I think it would be pretty hard to do a food film. I don't have any good ideas for that. Although Piece del Riata, who won last year, was a food film, so you can do something good, but I find that one tricky to wrap my head around usually.
I think musical was our one we were scared of because we didn't have anyone who could sing, so that's quite an important part. But yeah, the rest we kind of weren't too worried about.
Obviously, it's musical, right? That's for everyone goes, oh no, because it's 4 to 7 minutes long plus credits. I don't know how. Well, I guess most people aren't particularly musical. You have to decide whether you want to do maybe the whole film as one song, or do we have little 20-second bits of different songs, and who can write a song over a weekend? Yeah.
Well, personally, I would have loved to do a mockumentary, but it wasn't to happen this time, maybe another time. I think what I discovered is with having such a large team of 19, 20 people, there was such a vast kind of range of interests there, such a kind of range of kind of types of films that people liked to watch. And one of the things we did in the WhatsApp group was we got everybody to put their favourite film up. And from that it emerged that there were people who were absolutely desperate for fantasy, and they would have even, chosen musical. And I realised then at that point it really didn't matter what we chose, because we would just go with that person's ideal and just kind of get them to do it all for us.
Yeah, so Black and White, that was made, I think, at the start of Saturday. We went, should we shoot this all black and white? And it made it a lot easier because obviously you don't have your sort of set deck and time to get all the props and that and make it cohesive. So there's a lot of props where we didn't have black and white on the director's monitor. So you'd be looking at it and be like, oh, this looks really bad, and then come over and see it on camera and be like, okay, no, that looks better. The lines, I think, Sam, a lot of them were improvised. You were the writer. Yeah.
No, I think a lot of them were the script.
The script? Oh, okay, yeah. I take it back. All scripted.
And
Sorry.
was the improv question just for cooking or cooked? So that part is for everyone.
Have kind of fixed vision
Yeah.
what you want to do and try to stick with it, or are you just going into it and like, okay, whatever happens, it's gonna work.
Yeah, this time usually we don't. Usually we mostly improvise, but for this film, a lot of it was written the night before. But we did an interesting thing where I don't know if many people do this, but we all wrote because we don't have a designated writer, so we all wrote our own lines. So we imagined our character and we wrote the lines for our character. So I wrote my speech at the start and the end. Other than that, I'm pretty quiet the whole film. My friend Paddy G, who plays the chubby Jeffrey Dahmer with the glasses, he was meant to be sort of like the guy who just goes along with everything. So he wrote all his lines. He's a comedian as well, by the way, so it was quite handy. And Kieran, who played the horrible podcaster, I think that just came naturally to him, to be honest. I don't know why, but in most of it, it was all written pretty much. I don't think
The Eminem joke was quite funny.
Yeah. It's funny is he actually made that joke to him like a few days prior to the film, so it's quite that's the sort of the natural comedy that they have back and forth because they're like brothers, those two. So it was just quite natural for them.
We did stick pretty much to the script. When I wrote it, I always say to actors, like, as long as you've got a sense of the line, I really don't mind if you change certain things. But I think we did stick pretty close to it, which surprised me because I was writing for 2 female characters, and only an asshole thinks he can write women without even thinking about it, So I think we stuck pretty close to it.
Well, I'm the designated writer, and I think I would always insist that we would stick to the script, and that might cause a couple of problems for the actors who had quite a lot to learn. That was actually quite tricky, I think, for some of them because they had to learn quite long speeches in some ways. But I'm not a fan of improvisation, and I don't really ever see that.